Couch talk number 2. My apologies for it being a little amateur, but I'm shooting this off my iPhone. I just got myself a new iPhone, and I decided to have the light in the background just to kind of change the dynamic a little bit. But here's Couch Talk 2, and it's about the Buffalo Sabres because I just watched a 31 for 31 on the NHL Network for the Buffalo Sabres, and I want to talk about what I think about that team because that team has made a lot of moves, and I think that team has had a lot of moves on a lot of pieces that people might have slept on because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Like Tavares going to Toronto has definitely gotten a lot of people's attention, and there's been a lot of other moves. Dahlin was a big thing that people paid attention to for, but with the free agency and people signing everywhere and who's going to go where, people might have overlooked or maybe have forgotten what Buffalo has done. And then you have to look at Buffalo's division. They're in the same division as Ottawa, which is a complete tire fire. They're a shit show in Montreal, and Montreal's not going to be as good as they were previous years. Shea Weber's out for Montreal. So that's going to really hurt the defense core. Now, Carey Price may stand on his head and play pretty good, but they still don't have a center, so, Montreal is probably going to be the second worst team. So I don't think the Buffalo's going to end up dead last. Carter Hutton, to me, is probably the biggest what-if on their team. Just because this is his first time going around as a starting goalie. I believe he's 32 years old, so he's not tested yet at the NHL level as a full-time goalie. He's played some games, but he hasn't played like 60 games. He hasn't been part of an 82 game series. So I'm just scratching my arm here as I'm holding it. But yeah, he hasn't been an 82 game season kind of guy. He hasn't played... he hasn't played the full year. He is on St. Louis. St. Louis had a better decor. Because outside of Dahlin and Rastalainen, I believe is the other guy's name, who they have, Nathan Bellio or whatever, or whatever his name is. And then who else? Like, their bottom four are completely tremendous, or horrible. They're whatever the hell the word I'm looking for. Buffalo needs improvement on their decor. Outside of their top two guys, the rest of it's a clusterfuck. It's a shit show. And their goaltending is untested. So if you take a goaltender that you don't know you don't know fully if he's NHL ready, and you put him in behind a defense core that's AHL quality, your defense and your goaltending is going to lack. And offense, they will have Jack Eichel, and Eichel is a franchise player, and if he is healthy for the whole year and he doesn't get injured like he did back February, March of last year, and he can play the remaining 15, 20 games of the season, and if he pairs up with Jeff Skinner, you do have that to look forward to because they did lack scoring depth. And if Skinner can get 65 points and unite something with Eichel, then that can definitely help them through. But I think that right now their biggest problem is goaltending. Defense needs improvement from third down to six. And they have the offense in their top line, and they did pick up Tage Thompson, Vladimir Saborka. There's a couple other guys. Connor Sherry was a good one. Henricks. They got a lot of little minor pieces, and then you add in Casey Milstat, and then you're like, okay, I can see where this team's going, right? I can see, they got some young guys that are coming through. They had some guys from before, so they're good, but I don't think they're going to be good enough unless Carter Hutton turns out to be an actual NHL guy. That would definitely help them. I think they'll probably end up in the bottom 10 for sure, but probably 6, because I see that Vancouver, Montreal, Ottawa, Phoenix would all have to be worse than them. So that would put them right at 5th, but I feel like they're a better team than the Islanders, so I put them at 6. I put them as the 6th worst team, which they move up 5 spots. And who knows, because I'm just trying to think of every other team. Boston would be better. Toronto definitely would be. Every other Canadian team definitely would be. They definitely would be better than any team in California. Better than Dallas. Dallas is better than them. They'd be better than Carolina. So yeah, they might finish 24th in the league is probably where they'll finish. And they'll probably finish in the bottom 5, maybe the 5th in the East or something like that. Or they'll finish, somewhere around that line, like in the bottom 5 of the East. But there's, I'm just trying to think if there's any other teams. They're probably, actually, I would say Philly, if they can get their goaltending right, which I don't think they will. They're almost Philly, not quite. The Philly has a lot more better players. But what I can see happening is that if Carter Hutton is good, I got a feeling he's going to be like a Cam Talbot, where he had a really shitty career, had one good year, got traded to another team, in this case for Hutton got signed, and then end up playing a really good season, and then people are like, yeah, this guy's an NHL start, and then shit the bed. If you looked back at the 2016-2017 Tim Hortons hockey cards, they gave all the stats for Cam Talbot, and Cam Talbot was a really shitty goaltender up until that one good season. And I remember telling all these kids on Instagram, like, come on, man, Cam Talbot, he's not that good of a goalie. You're just basing this off this really good season. All these kids like, no, man, no, he's playing good now, so he's good forever. He's the greatest. Edmonton all the way, 27 cups in 20 years. I know it's not possible. Edmonton's going to do it. Connor McDavid. That's what kids were getting at, right? But he didn't turn to be good. He's not an NHL goaltender. NHL goaltenders are like Marc-Andre Fleury, Mark Murray, Pekka Rinne, Jonathan Quick, Corey Crawford, your Carey Price, your Frederik Andersons, Connor Huttebuck's kind of getting there, but that's your NHL goalies, like the guy that's down there in Tampa Bay. I keep forgetting about, Hopi, and those kind of guys, right? Like that's your NHL goaltenders, right? And basically, this guy may not be the guy, right? So if he turns out to be a really good goalie and breaks into the top 15, top 20 guys and really improves and makes up for the lack of their minor defensemen, and if they get the goal, the scoring that they need, and Milostat's doing great and Dahlin's doing great, then yeah, they could possibly sneak into the playoffs. But I think I think Buffalo's a team to watch out for. I think that in their division there's a lot of weak teams, because outside of them there's like Boston, there's Tampa. Like I think that they'll fight with Florida for that final spot. But, yeah, I see them getting definitely 20, 30, maybe 40 more points than they got last year. They're probably going to get like a top 10 draft pick, or maybe draft at like 8, 9, or 10. But I say give them a year or two, and they're probably going to be a playoff contender. But that's my video. This has been Couch Talk, as we're on the couch right now. As you can see, there's the... God damn it. The couch is right there. Thank you for watching, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I do appreciate you checking out my channel. Bye now.